What we're going to do now is visualize percentages. We are going to visualize, as in turn into a vision that we can see. Visualizing percentages. Because you often hear about 10%, 20%, 50%, and it's good to actually see what that looks like roughly in an image, and also in exams they will sometimes ask you to do this. Let's take the shape to the left. If you were told that each box is the same size and you needed to find 20% of that whole rectangle and shade it in, how would we find 20% of the rectangle? The first step is we need to know how many squares there are in order to find 20% of them. There are 5 columns and 3 rows. 5 times 3 is 15, so we need to find 20% of 15. One good way of finding 20% of 15 is to find 10%, and once we've found 10% of 15, we could double it to find 20%. 10% of 15, all we have to do is move the decimal place 1 to the left because we're dividing by 10, which gives us 10%. This would become 1.5. 10% of 15 is 1.5. And now we said that 10% times by 2 gets us 20%, so we're going to do 1.5 times by 2, which is, if you double it, 3. In other words, if we wanted to shade in 20% of this rectangle, we would have to shade in 3 boxes. 1, 2, 3. Or, if you like, 1, 2, 3. Both of those are 20% of the rectangle. Let's try one more. If they gave us this triangle here, and this big triangle, and they said, again, each triangle inside the big triangle is the same size, and they ask you to shade in 25% of the big triangle. Well, as you know, the first step is to find out how many little triangles there are inside the big triangle. Let's do it systematically. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And here's a little tip. We could have gone like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in all sorts of different order, and we might end up getting lost. I would just advise you to go systematically from one side to the other, and you'll never make a mistake. That's 16 triangles. 25% of 16. A quick other tip to get 25%, it's a one-off trick that you can do with 25%. If you half something, you get 50%. And if you half 50%, you get 25%. In other words, if you half something and half it again, that's a very smooth way of finding out 25% of that thing. We have 16 little triangles. Half of 16 equals 8. And half of 8 equals 4. Yes, 25% of 16 is 4. Now the fun part. Let's shade in 4 of these triangles. Boop, 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 boop. Or, if you prefer, this is really fun, I would recommend it highly. Boop, 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 boop. And just to prove the point, if this 4 triangles is 25%, then if we have another 4 triangles, we should get 50% of the whole shape. Another 4 triangles should be 75% of the shape, and another 4 triangles should be 100% of the shape, and it is.